Hello and welcome to Carrie Rose Health. Today we're going to focus on our upper body. As you know, I like to talk a little bit about anatomy. So when we're talking about our upper body, we're including the thoracic cage, which is our spine in the back and the ribs that wrap around to the sternum. We're including our shoulder joints as well as the cervical spine. It's important that we include all of these areas together because they are all connected. Do you find that if your neck is sore, you often have shoulder issues, or vice versa? If your shoulders are sore, often you'll have neck issues. That's why it's important that we're going to include this whole area together. So if you're working at a computer, if you have lymphatic drainage issues, if you've got pain, musculoskeletal referral things going on, then these are going to be great for you. As with most of the exercises that I show you, they may seem really simple, however, they pack a punch. So we want to focus on range of motion. We're going to start with our shoulders. And the first thing that I want you to do is if you're sitting down, I want you to sit right on your sits bones. So I want you to feel those bones on the bottom of your butt, and you're going to balance on those bones rather than sitting back onto your sacrum or sitting forward like this. I want you to feel nice and square and neutral. Bring your belly button in towards your spine and lift it up a little bit. Have some integrity while you're sitting. Your feet are flat on the floor. From here, let your arms down by your side, and you're going to inhale and shrug your shoulders up, and then exhale and bring them back down. Inhale and exhale. You'll notice that my head is staying stationary. I'm not coming forward like this, nor am I coming back like this. I'm keeping my head nice and stationary. I'm inhaling up and I'm exhaling down. I'm reaching up through the top of my head, through the crown of my head, as if there's a string pulling me up. And I'm creating space in all those vertebrae. We're going to continue on with range of motion exercises for the shoulder joint. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a rotation forward and then a rotation back. Your arms are part of this movement. So your palms when you're back are facing up towards the ceiling. And then as you rotate forward, your palms are facing behind you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You're going to repeat this 6 times. I want you to focus on thinking there's a string coming up from the top of your head, and you're creating length and space between each of your vertebrae. Inhale, exhale. Excellent. What we're going to do now is we're going to raise and lower our arms in different planes of motion. So the first one that we're doing is our arms are out to the side. Our palms are facing towards our body. When we do our range of motion in our shoulders, I want you to think about, you don't want to lose the space between the bottom of your ear and the top of your shoulders. For example, it doesn't look like this. See how we've lost this space? I want you to keep your shoulders down. The movement is actually coming from the scapula, from the shoulder blade in the back. That's where we're focusing this range of motion. Oftentimes when people think about their shoulder, they're thinking about the actual joints up here, when in reality, we're focusing on the shoulder blade in the back. So this is called abduction. And we're going to inhale, palms facing down, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're still balanced on our sits bones, and our belly button is pulling in towards our spine and lifting up slightly. Inhale and exhale. If this is causing you pain down through your hands, I want you to shorten your levers, shorten your arms. So you can bend your elbows, your palms will be facing each other. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can continue this for 6 times, 6 breaths inhalation, 6 breaths exhalation. We're moving on now. We're continuing with our shoulder range of motion, and now this is called flexion and extension. So flexion of the shoulder joint is our hands are coming up towards, we're going to go to a 90-degree angle. Our palms are facing down towards the floor, or you can have your palms facing each other. So they come back down, you come to neutral, your palms will face behind you, and you're extending back. Come back to neutral, and your hands will flex forward, your shoulders. You're still not losing that space between your ear and the top of your shoulders. We're maintaining that length. We're maintaining that integrity. We're just teaching our shoulders that they can actually move without engaging our neck. So if you're having neck pain on a day-to-day basis and you're suffering, doing these shoulder exercises and retraining your body will help alleviate that tension in your neck. You're going to do that 6 times extension and flexion, and you're going to continue that with your breath. Our breath work during these exercises are very, very important. Now, let's go back to the thoracic spine. We've just been working on our shoulder blades. What I want you to do is I want you to hug yourself. We're not up like this, shoulders are down. We're going to do some rotation. So I want you to imagine there's a pull through our spine. Our spine is a big pull, and it comes up and it actually stops 6 inches above our head. And so to keep that in alignment, to keep that pull in alignment, our head has to move with our spine. So we're going to inhale to prepare, and we're going to exhale, and you're going to rotate, keeping your chin centered, and you're going to rotate over to the side as you exhale. Inhale when you get to as far as you can rotate, and then exhale and come back to center. Inhale at center. Exhale, rotate to the other side, keeping your head neutral between your shoulders. You're keeping both sits bones on your chair. I don't want you lifting up at all. You're keeping your spine like a barbershop pull. Inhale at the end, exhale to center. Continue that for 6 times to both sides, and you're really going to feel the benefits from this. Excellent. I'm so excited to be sharing these range of motion exercises with you for the thoracic spine, for the shoulder girdle, and for the cervical spine. You're going to feel so much better. The next thing I want to show you is more range of motion for the thoracic spine and the rib cage. The first thing that we're going to do is you're going to elevate your arm. When we elevate our arm here, we have our shoulder, which we're not losing space in. So your shoulder blades are down. You elevate here, then your elbow, and this is a better angle. Your elbow's up, and then your wrist. So I want your wrist lower than your elbow, lower than your shoulder. From here, you're just going to follow your eye with your hands, and you're going to rotate, keeping both sits bones on the chair, and you're looking, your gaze is following, you're reaching up through the crown of your head, you're inhaling out, you're exhaling back. Inhale out, exhale back. You're going to do this 6 times on both sides. Don't forget, do not lose the space in here. Your elbow is lower than your shoulder. Your wrist is lower than your elbow. Your gaze is staying with your hand, and you're going to reach out through the top of your head as you rotate in your chair, keeping both sits bones nice and stable. 6 times on each side, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. This one is similar to the one that we just did, rotation of the thoracic spine, but now we're going to lengthen our lever. So the motion is all still coming from our torso, but we're going to increase a little bit more stretch across the front of the body. So we start the same way, shoulder down, elbow a little lower than the shoulder, and wrist a little lower than the elbow. Inhale as you go out, but when you get to your end range of motion here, extend your arm away from you. Keep looking at your hand, and then come back over and rotate around your body. Inhale, extend, bring it back as you exhale. Inhale, extend, bring it back as you exhale. We're doing this 6 times on each side. Reach up through the top of your head. Don't let any water squeeze out the sponges of your vertebrae. Keep your length. Keep your belly button in towards your spinal column, lifting up through the pelvic floor. When we do any of these exercises, we're going to move on to the other side. Inhale as you go out. Exhale as you come back in. Lifting up through the pelvic floor. Keep the integrity. This is a full body exercise, even though we are focusing on range of motion of the thoracic cage. We're moving on now. This is another anterior stretch, a fascial stretch for our body. We're using our arms as levers to get the most out of this stretch possible. I want you to take your hand. You're going to start on your opposite hip bone. You're going to inhale as your hand comes up and open. Your gaze is following, and you're feeling this right through the center of your body. And exhale and come back in. Inhale, exhale. Notice that you don't lose your space in here. I'll show you what not to do now. If you're following the gaze, your gaze on your hand, you will have less chance of error. Exhale as you come out, inhale as you go in. You're going to do 6 times on that side, and then 6 times on this side. It's a wonderful, wonderful stretch for all of the circulatory and nerves and fascia that is going across this midline down your arms. It feels great. You're going to love it. So we've done a lot of range of motion today, and now we're going to move on to the cervical spine. The cervical spine has more range of motion than the thoracic spine. It can do flexion, extension, lateral flexion, rotation, and of course put it all together and we get circumduction. So one thing that we can do is I want you to always remember to have that integrity, to keep that length in your spine. Reach up through the crown of your head. Bring your shoulder blades down. Imagine them just sliding slightly down into your back pockets. Your sits bones are engaged and your belly button is pulled in and then slightly up underneath your rib cage. If you have any questions about any of the directions I'm giving you, please leave a comment below and we can go over it. So you're going to inhale to prepare, and you're going to exhale, and you're bringing your right ear to your right shoulder. You're feeling this stretch along the side. Now, if you don't feel a stretch when you're doing this, grab the bottom of the chair again and create opposition, not by putting tension on your head, but pulling your shoulder down. A beautiful add-on to this stretch is in this position now, turn your chin to your armpit and then come down. Again, opposition. So you're reaching your shoulder blade away from you and you're pulling your chin towards your opposite armpit. Untwist before you come out of it and then come back to neutral. Then you can do the other side. You're reaching your arm away from you, opposition, and you're breathing. Turn your chin to your opposite armpit and create opposition at that angle. Untwist and back up to center. Excellent. So that's lateral flexion, and that's also a special muscle that we are stretching here called your levator scapula. It feels quite wonderful. The next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to bring our chin down towards our chest, and we can slightly put some tension on the top of our head. I'm not pushing down, I'm just increasing the stretch here. So if you actually tuck your chin first and then come down, you're going to get the stretch in those suboccipital muscles, which are notorious for causing headaches. Breathe from here. And then back up to center. I want you to lift up again. And if it's in your comfort zone, you can go back. If you feel any pinching or sharp pain in the back of your spine here, do not do extension of your head. We're going to just skip that exercise. If you feel okay with this, then lift, create space, shoulders down, and you can bring your head back. It's beautiful to get this front part of your neck. If you open your mouth, go back slightly more, and then close your jaw. And you can see how that stretches underneath here. It feels great. Coming back up to center. So the last thing that I want to do is we're going to have our ear to our shoulder, and then you're going to rotate around to ear to opposite shoulder. Make sure you breathe. Keeping those shoulder blades down, we're not lifting them up. They're not coming with our head here. We're creating opposition. Excellent. These were very simple exercises that we went over today, but they can be very profound. If we're not moving, we're not creating the synovial fluid in the joints, and we end up getting stuck. We end up getting sticky. The best thing that you can do to keep healthy and to keep that flexibility and range of motion is to continue moving your joints. I personally prefer stretching with motion, stretching with action, because that's how our bodies are designed. Our bodies are not really designed to hold static stretches. And so we can get into the physiology of all of that in another video. But for now, make sure that you continue to breathe through the exercises. Make sure that you continue to lift up through your pelvic floor. Belly button is in towards the back of your spine, and your sits bones are nice and stable on your chair. And you're going to get the most benefit from this. I just made up that analogy today about the discs, the intervertebral discs being like sponges. So they're sponges full of water. We don't want that water to squeeze out. So we don't want compression of the discs, either going up and down or to the side. So we're always reaching up through the crown of our head. Let me know what you think about this video. If you like them, leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel and I'll create more. Leave a comment on what you would like to learn. If you have any questions or concerns, if you need clarification about anything that I've said today, please, I'd love to go over it with you. And just remember, with Carrie Rose Health, it's never too late to feel great.